In this video, we'll go through exam questions that cover the criteria read, write, order and compare common fractions and mixed numbers. You can locate the questions on the mathsmaths.com website under level 1. The questions come from different exam boards. We'll start with the non-calculated questions and then we'll move to the calculated questions. Here's the first one. Boarding kennels look after cats and dogs. Linda is setting up a boarding kennel business. She researches other kennels and finds that 3/8 of kennels take dogs only, 2/5 of kennels take cats only. Linda thinks that more kennels take dogs only than take cats only. Is she correct? Show how you decide. So it's a case of comparing the two fractions. So we've got 3/8 and 2/5. Obviously, these are split into different sizes of slices, so we need to cut these two into an equal number of slices. So we've got the first one being cut into 8 and the second one being cut into 5. What could be a number that they have, or a multiple that they have in common? That could be 40, because 8 times 5 is 40. So if I cut this into 40, then the highlighted area will be equal to 15. Because to get from 8 to 40, I've multiplied by 5. So to get from 3 to this number, I need to multiply by 5 as well. That's why it's 15. And similarly, the 2/5 that we have, to get from 5 to 40, I've multiplied by 8. So I'll multiply 2 by 8 as well to get 16. Now we can compare which one is greater. 16/40 is greater than 15/40. 16/40, that is 2/5. So that's the kennels that take cats only. Linda thinks that more kennels take dogs only than take cats only. Is this correct? No, it's not. Also, to clarify, you don't need to draw these circles, pies, pizzas, whatever you want to call them. I've just drawn them to help you understand. But if it helps you, feel free to draw them even in the exam. So we've got another question. 5 and 2/5 is the same as. So we need to turn that into a fraction. From a mixed number into a fraction. An improper fraction. So it's top heavy, as are all mixed numbers. So 5 and 2/5. So there will be 2 slices here. There are 5 in this one, 5 in this one, 5 and 5, because we cut them all into equal number of slices and equal size as well. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 27/5. 27 of these slices. You can also multiply 5 by 5 to give you 25 and then add the 2. 16 and 2/3 is the same as 18/3, 50/3 32 thirds, or 48 thirds. Okay, so the short method I just went through was multiplying the bottom number of the fraction, the denominator, by the whole number. So that in this case is 16 times 3. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 1 is 3, and the 1, that is 4. So we have 48. Now we need to add the top number of the fraction. That's 2. So 48 add 2, that gives us 50. So 50 thirds. That's option B. Which of these lists of fractions and mixed numbers is in order from smallest to largest? Okay, so looking at the first row, we've got 2 1/4, then we have 1 3/4, then we have 3/4, and then 1 1/4. So the first one is the largest because it's 2 whole ones and 1/4. Then the second one is 1 3/4, so definitely not one of the smallest. And also this one, 1 1/4, that is more than 1. Whereas this fraction here, 3/4, that is the smallest because it's less than 1. As we're starting from the smallest, that should be the first. So option C and D have that as the first. Now looking at the second number, should it be 1 1/4 or should it be 1 3/4? So 1 1/4 is definitely smaller than 1 3/4. So 1 3/4 should come after that, and then finally 2 1/4. In a multi-pack of biscuits, there are 12 custard creams, 12 bourbons, 14 shortbread, and 15 digestives. What fraction of the biscuits are custard creams? Write the answer in the box below. So we've got 12 custard creams. That is out of 12 and 12 and 14 and 15. Which is the total. So 2 and 2 is 4, and the 4 is 8, and the 5, that is 13. So 3 down, 1 carried over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that is 53. So 12 50 thirds. You volunteer for a charity that provides clothing. You're sending a shipment. 1/6 of the items are jackets, 2/5 of the items are trousers, the remainder are tops. What fraction of the items are tops? Show your working out and write the answer in the box below. So 1/6 are jackets, 2/5 are trousers. If we add these two together, we'll know what fraction of all the items, of all the clothing, are jackets and trousers. So then we can take that fraction away from 1 and work out the remainder. So let's find a common denominator for these two. 6 and 5, we can do 30 because 6 times 5 is equal to 30. To get from 6 to 30, we multiply by 5. So we'll do the same to the top number, which is 1. So 1 times 5, that is 5. To get from 5 to 30, we multiply by 6. So we'll do the same to the 2. 2 times 6 is 12. So that is 17/30. So now 30 30ths, that's the whole thing, that's equal to 1. That's all the clothing. If you take away 17 30ths, we can work out the remainder. So 30 take away 17 is 13. So that's the fraction we're after. You are working for Highfield Vets. During your first week, Highfield Vets treat 72 cats, 63 dogs, 54 birds, and 51 small mammals. What fraction of the total animals treated are cats? Give your answer in its simplest form, show your working out, and write the answer in the box below. So cats, that is 72 out of the total, which is 72, add 63, add 54, add 51. 2 and 3, that's 5. And 4 is 9, and 1 is 10, so 0 down, 1 carried over. 7 and 6, that is 13. And the 10, that is 23. And the 1 we have carried over, that is 24. So that is 240. Both numbers we can divide by 2, as we need to give our answer in its simplest form. So dividing 72 by 2 gives us 36. Dividing 240 by 2 gives us 120. We can keep going. We can still divide by 2, or 3 if you want. I'll divide by 2. That's 18, and this is 60. Again, I can divide by 2, and this is 9, and that's 30. Now I can divide by 3, and I'll get 3 here, and 10 at the bottom, so 3/10. We can't go any further, because we can't divide 10 by 3 and get a whole number. You work for Highfield Advertising and Promotions. You're sending out new promotional material to customers. 1/3 are leaflets, 2/5 are brochures, the remainder are catalogues. What fraction of the promotional materials are catalogues? Show your working out and write your answer in the box below. So we have 1/3 being leaflets and 2/5 being brochures. So adding these two together, the common denominator for 3 and 5 is 15. To get from 3 to 15, we've multiplied by 5, so we'll do the same to the top number. 1 times 5 is 5. To get from 5 to 15, we've multiplied by 3, so we'll do the same to the top number. 2 times 3 gives us 6. 5 and 6, that's 11. So 11 15ths. 15 15ths is the whole thing. All the promotional material, including leaflets, brochures, and catalogues. Taking away 11 15ths, that gives us 4 15ths. From now on, we can use a calculator. Write 3/60 as a fraction in its simplest form. So we've got 3 and 60. We need to find a number that we can divide both by, so by the same number. 3, you don't have much choice, it's only 3 you can divide by to get a whole number, which is 1. So 3 divided by 3 gives us 1. 60 divided by 3 gives us 20. But if you're unsure about that, you can use a calculator to divide 60 by 3 and it gives you 20. Another thing you can use a calculator for to check whether you've done this correctly is to do 3 divided by 60, because you know the fraction line means division, and that gives us 0.05. If I do 1 divided by 20, does it give me the same number? It does. So that shows that we've done this correctly. And we can't divide any further because we've got 1 there at the top. Shaz will share the money she raises between 3 charities. So Shaz is raising some money for charity. She gives a local hospice 2/5 of the money. She gives Save the Children 1/4 of the money. She gives Age Concern 7/20 of the money. Which charity will get the most money? Show how you decide. So it's a case of comparing the fractions. We've got 2/5, 1/4, and 7/20. So let's convert them so they all have the same denominator. Looking at 5 and 4, 5 times 4 is 20, and this is 20 as well, so we can use 20. So to get from 5 to 20, we multiply by 4, so we do the same to the top number. 2 times 4 is 8. 1/4, from 4 to 20, we multiply by 5, so we do the same to the top number, so that is 5. 7/20, that is already as we need it, with a denominator of 20 and comparable to the other fractions. So we're looking for the charity that will get the most money. So we're looking for the highest top number, as all these denominators now are the same. So we've got 8, 5 and 7. This is the highest. So 2/5, that is the local hospice. Greg already has 2 round cake tins. He thinks he could use one of those and put a picture of a dinosaur on the top. Tin A will need 3/5 of the cake mix recipe. Tin B will need 2/3 of the cake mix recipe. Which tin will need the smaller amount of cake mix? Show your working. So the question relates to a previous question which is not here. However, the context is not as important in this case, because all you need to do is compare the 2 fractions. You're looking for the smaller amount. So we've got 3/5 and 2/3. So a common denominator would be 15, because 5 times 3 is 15. To get from 5 to 15, we multiply by 3, so we'll do the same to the top number. 3 times 3, that is 9. To get from 3 to 15, we multiply by 5, so we'll do the same to the top number. 2 times 5, that is 10. Can we compare these two now? Definitely 10/15 is greater than 9/15. So 2/3 is greater than 3/5. But we're looking for the smaller amount. So that is 3/5. And that is tin A. Which one of these fractions is the biggest number? 4/10, 3/4, 2/5, or 1/3? Now, we can compare the fractions by finding common denominators, or finding equivalent fractions in here. But we can use a calculator, so the easiest thing to do is to convert these into decimals. And we know that the fraction line means division, so 4 tenths, that will be 4 divided by 10, which is 0.4. 3 quarters, that is 3 divided by 4, which is 0.75. 2 fifths, 2 divided by 5, which is 0.4. And 1/3, that is 1 divided by 3, which is 0.333. Which one is the biggest? That is 0.75, which is 3 quarters. Another way you can look at this is that 4 tenths, that is less than half, because half would be 5 tenths. 2 fifths, again, that is less than half, because half of 5 is 2.5. And also 1/3 is less than half, because half of 3 is 1.5. So 3 quarters is the only one that is more than half. So that is the highest fraction. Write 33/8 as a mixed number. So we've got 8s, so you can imagine pizza or cake split into 8 equal parts. So if you have 23 of these slices, how many whole cakes or pizzas would that make? So how many 8s fit into 33 is the question. You'll most likely know that it's 4 lots of 8, which makes 32. But if you don't know, you can always do 32, well actually 33 divided by 8, which gives you 4 so 4 is the whole number. It's 4 and then 4 times 8, so that is 32. So 33, take away 32, that is 1. 1/8. 4 and 1/8. Calculate 2 and 5/8 plus 11/16. Give your answer as a mixed number. Show you're working out and write the answer in the box below. So we've got a mixed number and a fraction. I'm going to leave the 2 to one side for now, and I'm going to add 5/8 and 11/16. Common denominator of both is 16 itself, because 16 is a multiple of 8. 8 times 2 makes 16. To get from 8 to 16, we multiply it by 2. So we'll do the same to the top number to give us 10. This one is already as we need it. So 10 and 11, that is 21/16. So this is an improper fraction. It's more than 1. So 21 take away 16, that is 5. So we have 1 whole and 5/16 here. So now we can add the 2 that we have to make this 3 and 5/16. What is 36 out of 96 as a fraction? Simplify your answer. So that is 36 out of 96. And we've got to give the answer in its simplest form. So we can divide by 2. Hopefully you're comfortable doing that without a calculator, but if you need to, you can use a calculator. And then 96 divided by 2, that is 48. Again, use your calculator if you need to. 18 divided by 2 gives us 9. 48 divided by 2 gives us 24. We can now divide by 3. 9 divided by 3 gives us 3. 24 divided by 3 gives us 8. And this is the simplest version. We can't go any further. We can't divide 8 by 3 to give us a whole number. Which of the following values is the largest? 850 thousandths, 2 and 1/9, 7/3, 2 and 7 550ths. Write the answer in the box below. So looking at these, the first one, that is less than 1, because the top number is smaller than the bottom number. So that's definitely not the largest. Then we have 2 and 1/9, 2 and 7 550ths, and we've got 7/3. Now 7/3, 3 and 3, that is 6, so this is 2 and 1/3. We have 2 and 1/9 and 2 and 7 550ths. So these are the three that we need to compare. 1/9 is smaller than a third. So 2 and 1/9 is definitely smaller than 2 and a third. So again, that can drop out without any calculations. Looking at these two, 2 and 1/3 and 2 and 7 550ths. 1/3 is larger than 7 550ths. To be equivalent, at the top you'd have a much larger number, because what is a third of 550? 550 divided by 3 gives us 183. So that would be a much larger number at the top. So definitely this is the largest. You can always do this as well to compare 2 and 1/3 and 2 and 7 550ths. So 7 divided by 550, that is 0.012, whereas 1/3, that is 0.3, so it's much larger, ignoring the whole number in front, which is the same. So 2 and 1/3 is the largest fraction of them all. What is 18 out of 63 as a fraction? Simplify your answer. So 18 out of 63. Let's have a look. Can we divide by 18? Can we divide 63 by 18 and get a whole number? No, we can't. So that doesn't work. What number can we divide them both by? Can we divide them by 3? Yes, we can. And 18 divided by 3 gives us 6. But if you're unsure, you can always do 18 divided by 3 and gives us 6. Can it go any further? Yes, we can divide both numbers by 3. So 6 divided by 3 gives us 2. 21 divided by 3 gives us 7. You can see how knowing your timetables is really important, even when you can use a calculator. Which of the following is greater? 3/8 of 100 or 5/12 of 900? So 3/8 will be shown like this, and the whole thing is equal to 1000. 5/12 on the other hand will look like this, but the whole thing is equal to 900. So what we're going to do is divide the 1000 by 8, because there are 8 slices, and then multiply it by 3, because we've got 3 of them that we take in, 3 of them being highlighted. And we'll do with the 900 divided by 12 multiplied by 5. So 375 here. And 375 here as well. They are equal. Is the answer. Write these fractions in order, starting with the smallest. 7/10, 3/4, and 2/3. We can always find equivalent fractions and compare these, but the easiest thing would be to convert them into decimals, I think, in this case. So 7 divided by 10 gives us 0.7. 3 divided by 4 gives us 0.75, and 2 divided by 3 gives us 0.67, rounded to 2 decimal places. So we'll start with the smallest, 0.7, 0.75, 0.67. So this is the smallest, that is 2/3, the fraction. And then we have 0.7, which is 7/10, and finally 3/4. And this is the end of the questions.